town near you. By Auto Wholesalers of Milford and Hooksett, where they have over 400 cars wholesaled to the public. And Man Style in Portsmouth. Experiment with your image as much or as little as you dare. It's going to be the Toppers kicking off the St. Thomas, Ben, and after a shaky second quarter, St. Thomas comes back, gets a late touchdown, and goes back into the lead.
Yeah, St. Thomas had jumped out to an early 13-0 lead, but near the end of the first quarter, they fumbled the ball at their own 1-yard line, which allowed Somersworth to get their first score of the game, make it 13-7. And then on St. Thomas's next drive, they fumbled once again, this time at their own 49-yard line, where Somersworth picked that one up and had their first successful drive of the day, taking the lead 14-13. But then St. Thomas scored one midway through the second quarter to take the lead, where the score stands now 21-14.
Second half underway. St. Thomas and Somersworth, glad you could be with us. Justin Hallinan brings the ball back and gets only to the 28-yard line. He's brought down by Greg Doobie.
If you missed, I'm sorry, Sam.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you missed the first half, you just saw Justin Hallinan with the ball, and he went over the 2,500-yard mark for his career in the first half of this ball game. He's number 22, and then his teammate number 32, Eric Army, he's rushed for over 2,600 yards this year.
And now we see a wishbone set for St. Thomas the first time today. It's Hallinan sweeping to the outside. The speedster's got some running room down the sideline. Boy, is he quick. Don't give him the corner because he will kill you, as he did just there down to the 48-yard line. 17-yard carry for Justin Hallinan.
And Hallinan again just showing that great speed that he's exhibited all day long. Gets to the outside, gain of 18 on the play to be a 1st and 10 for the Saints at their own 48-yard line.
St. Thomas comes right out of the locker room and picks up a big first down on their first play from scrimmage. We're just underway second half. Hallinan through the middle of the Topper defense gets into Topper territory at the 46-yard line, where he's stopped by Mike McCone.
Well, Hallinan's been quite a workhorse today. Gets another 6 yards or so on that carry, and he's carried the ball about 15 times already today.
St. Thomas leads by 7 as we're just underway. Big crowd on hand today at Somersworth High School under sunny but windy conditions. Up the middle, Eric Army. Army over the 45, drives down to the 42-yard line.
Looks like he's going to have about enough for a first down. We'll wait for the official spot, and they will try to line this up in this side, and they may actually bring the chains out.
And they will. That gives us an opportunity to let you know that this is the final regular season game. St. Thomas is number 1 going into today. Somersworth is number 3. There's also a big contest taking place at Bishop Brady at Franklin going on today. And in the division, Franklin is ranked 2nd and Brady is ranked 4th
down.
So there'll be some jumbling at the end of today.
And as you saw there, they stretched the chains out, and about a length of a half of football, the Saints gained their first down of this second half. Actually, a second first down. 1st and 10 for the Saints at the 42 of the Toppers.
11:08, just underway, third period. Quick pitch. Hallinan looking for running room. Cuts inside, now busts to the outside. Good job that time by Somersworth on the corner by Ryan Gagnon. Forced Hallinan inside, but Hallinan still picked up 4 or 5 after the run and give him 6 on the carry, 2nd down and 4.
Well, Hallinan's got a really quick step. He's able to move both forward and sideways at the same time, so the ease it seems. Moves the ball upfield, and if he needs to make a quick adjustment, he can and get a couple extra yards.
On the 2nd down play, Allard will give the ball to Army. Army drives toward the sticks, close to the 1st down. Nuts and bolts football by St. Thomas. Nothing fancy on this drive.
Army's a 5'7", 190-pounder. And again, it looks like they'll be stopping the clock to bring the chains out.
So back-to-back measurements here by St. Thomas. It was a 2nd down play, so they'll have another opportunity, as it will be very, very close to a first down.
Well, for the second time in a row, Army seems to know exactly where that yard marker is, and it's just enough once again to get a first down for the Saints. So they'll mark the ball at the 32-yard line. First and 10, St. Thomas. 10-17 to go here in the third quarter. Saints trying to build in a 21-14 lead.
St. Thomas trying to make it 9 straight. They're 8-0 in the division, and they lead 21-14 in this game today and driving. First down and 10. Army, Mr. Inside, gets down to the 25-yard line.
Gain of nearly 7.
Joe Kuchar on the stop for Somersworth. Toppers started slow at the beginning of the game, Ben, and they heated up in the second period to get back into the ball game. But right now, this next touchdown is a very big one. Second down and 5. Ball at the 26-yard line. Hallinan gets the hole. Look out. Hallinan on the go. Hallinan racing toward the end zone. Touchdown. Hallinan, 26-yard touchdown run. And St. Thomas goes up 27-14.
And for Hallinan, that's his third touchdown of the day. 12th on the season. Once again, he just gets right up in the middle, and his legs are so quick. Made every adjustment necessary. He saw the open parts of the field, and he just bolted for them. Scampers 26 yards on that play for the touchdown, and it expands the lead to 27-14 with a point after to come.
Ryan Silva kicking into the wind. Allard will put the ball down. Kicks on its way, and this one is good. So make it 28-14 as the kick is good. 9:22 to go in the third, and that gives St. Thomas a little breathing room right now at 28-14.
And Somersworth finds themselves right back in the spot they were early in this game. They fell behind quickly, 13-0. They were able to rebound from that with a couple of good defensive plays that created some fumbles and then some scoring opportunities where they took the lead. St. Thomas now has scored back-to-back touchdowns of their own to expand their lead back out to 14 at 28-14. But Somersworth now needs to find a way to get the ball moving offensively once again. And offensively get themselves back into this game, as some of the emotion, I'm sure, has been let out of this Somersworth balloon. Somersworth is credited with the last 2 defeats of the Saints, beating them last year in the state championship game 45-0. Somersworth also handed the Saints their last regular season defeat way back in November of '96 on this field, where the Toppers beat St. Thomas by a score of 40-0.
So right now, Somersworth hoping for a good return here. St. Thomas will be kicking off against the wind. And Ryan Silver wants to know where's the football. As he turns toward the official and says, I'm all set to go. I need a football. And now we're trying to find out where the football is.
Well, this is interesting. At a football game, you'd think there'd be at least one football hanging around, but apparently, even though he was kicking the extra point into the wind, he must have kicked it all the way to Rochester.
So whoever received the ball after that extra point maybe thought it had a souvenir.
Yeah. It is Halloween, you know, some spooky things are bound to happen, and I guess right now this is the, oh, there it is, Sam.
The pigskin is returned. 28-14 our score. St. Thomas trying to complete an undefeated regular season. Somersworth trying to solidify at least a second place finish in Division 4. A loss today will probably put them on the road next week. All set to go. Silva kicking off for St. Thomas. Kick into the wind is a good one. Comes down to Doobie. He's at the 20. And oh, a big hit by St. Thomas. There's a flag on the play. Ryan LaFleur, Drew LaFleur, I should say.
I think it's going to be a late hit called against the Saints, as the runner was already down, and there it is, the personal foul being called against the Saints. So instead of marking the ball at about the 25, this will take it out to the 40, so excellent field position to start.
Drew LaFleur made the big first hit, but the second hit goes into the advantage of Somersworth. And ball will be at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Mike Francor leading the Toppers at quarterback as they need to score. Plenty of time left to go, though. We're approaching the 9-minute mark of the third period. Francor off tackle. Jesse Demers right up the middle. Jesse Demers gets 4 tough yards, brings up 2nd down and 6. Ball gets to the 44-yard line.
The Saints that time just doing a good job of plugging up the middle, not allowing Demers any room to which to run. But he does pick up a nice gain of 5.
Nice spot. Got all the way to the 45. Power eye backfield for the blue-shirted Toppers. Jacobson, who's had a strong game today. Great second effort. 1st down, Somersworth.
Gets about 7 after forward progress on that one. Did a nice job of riding the back one of his blockers, and then he just scooted out for another couple of yards, and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Toppers inside Saints territory at about the 49.5. 8:33 to go here in the third quarter. Saints with a 28-14 lead.
They're very impressed by the running of Alex Jacobson here today, and certainly the defenders for St. Thomas know when they tackle him. This is Benway. Benway is hitting the backfield immediately by Brian Pike, number 56.
And that, I'm safe to say, was for no gain as he was met immediately and dropped right at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 now for Somersworth.
Tough on Somersworth when they don't pick up good yardage on 1st down. They're a running ball club. And right now, 7:54 to go. And with the wind at his back, maybe Mike Francor needs to think about putting the ball up. He's had 1 pass today, and it's been intercepted. 2nd and 10. Quick pitch. Jesse Demers. Nice running off tackle. Demers gets down to the 42. Stopped there by Murtaugh, as well as St. Thomas back Steve Hatfield.
And we got a flag. And it's another personal foul against the Saints. So what would have been a 3rd and 3 or so will give the Toppers a 1st and 10, probably somewhere around the 25-yard line.
So a couple of big penalties here on St. Thomas keeps the Somersworth drive alive.
Interestingly, Sam, is looking at the penalties on the day. That's the 4th penalty against St. Thomas, and 3 of them have been on the 15-yard variety.
And that was from the end of the run also, Ben, so that brings the ball all the way down to the 28-yard line. So Somersworth in great shape right now, needing a couple of touchdowns to get back in this one. St. Thomas leads 28-14. 7:30 left to go in the third. Up the middle again. Demers runs into a host of St. Thomas tacklers. His offensive line was stood up by St. Thomas and could go nowhere, and by the time he thought about bouncing to the outside, he was down.
Sure was. They wanted the play to go to the right. He was trying to follow the blockers who he said were stood up. If he had had maybe another half a second to take a peek, I think he had the whole middle of the field that he could have been rambling on forever. In any case, 2nd and 9 for Somersworth.
On this 2nd down and long, Francor, first man through Jacobson. There's about 3 yards, and that's about it for Alex Jacobson, and a big 3rd down coming up right now. Again, when you're trailing by 14 points, every 3rd down is important. But here in the third period, with the wind at your back, you need to go to the air. This is the time to do it. Ball just outside the 26-yard line.
3rd and 7 now for Somersworth. 6:25 to go here in the third.
Coach Francor stopped by, I should say Mike Francor stopped by and talked to Coach Keys. Got the play. Quick pitch. Benway. Benway is going to get to the corner. Benway cuts to the outside. Flag on the play. This one's going to come back.
Benway helped a little bit in the backfield by a hold. So this will negate what turned out to be a 1st down run for the Toppers, and it'll move the ball back to the 36-yard line or so, and it'll set up a 3rd and 17, I believe, for Somersworth.
Jason Benway tried to get to the corner. Looks like there might have been a hold right at that point, allowing him to break to the sideline and pick up that first down. But this one will come back with 6:06 to go here in the 3rd period. So more penalties here in the beginning of the 3rd period than we've had in the game as the ball goes back to the 40. So on this 3rd down play coming up, the Toppers need to get to at least the 20-yard line for a first down. So we'll call it 3rd and 20. 28-14 our score. Ends in tight. Toppers trail by 14 points. Halfback pass. Benway's got a man out there. He's wide open. Oh, it's through his hands. Joe Kuchar was at the 10-yard line. He looked back and just couldn't come through. Benway threw a nice ball that time.
Sure did. It was a perfect play as they had the handoff, which brought the linebackers and the safeties in a little bit to cover the run, and it left the receiver wide open, and it was a nice pass just falling through the hands. 4th and 20. Somersworth forced to punt.
Number 58 for the Toppers, Jeremy Rouleau, will kick from midfield, and now St. Thomas has to call a timeout, surprisingly. 5:59 to go in the 3rd. Maybe Rod Watton here been talking about the fake situation and wanting to keep his team set up for that.
Yeah, because Somersworth, they're really in a tough hole right now. They had a bad break a moment ago and went on a 3rd and 7. Benway ran the ball for about 8 yards, got the first down, but unfortunately for the Toppers, there was a holding call on the play, which, in a sense, just stopped the Somersworth drive. And with the Toppers down by 14 and only 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, Somersworth really needs to do something to get some more points on the board. St. Thomas is a team that's averaged 40 points a game, and Somersworth has to keep up with them offensively. So, like you say, wanting to warn the St. Thomas defense for the fake right here. It's not a bad part of the field to try it.
The only player back for St. Thomas is Justin Hallinan. Officials discussing a point at midfield, and now Ed Holm will take an official's timeout. And Ed Holm is going to come to the sideline.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to maybe bring a tackle in, like tackle-eligible type of play. If they were thinking about a fake, so they could maybe throw to one of their linemen. And now maybe official trying to want to straighten things out a little bit here.
Talking with Coach Keys. And I think it has something to do with the football.
And now the officials are making a substitution. Maybe there's a little blood over there on the sideline. I don't know. In any case,
we're just speculating here, but this is a summit conference.
Ryan Murtaugh just left the game in favor of Jeff McLean.
And now Ed Holmes says, okay, let's go back to work, gentlemen. 5:59 on the clock. It's a 4th down and 20. Jeremy Rouleau, if he kicks, will get this kickoff from midfield. Looking for a good snap. He gets it and will kick it. Drives it. Heading toward the end zone and goes in for the touchback. It'll come out to the 20, where St. Thomas will start 1st and 10.
Works out to a 40-yard punt with a 20-yard net when they bring the ball back out to the 20 after the touchback. 5:52 to go in the 3rd. St. Thomas now, with that 14-point lead, will have a chance to try to up it and maybe put this game out of reach for the Toppers.
Both Somersworth touchdowns coming off St. Thomas fumbles here this afternoon,
which really seems to have been the lift the offense has needed. They've really fed off the momentum created by the defense in scoring those 2 touchdowns. And St. Thomas trying to beat Somersworth for the 2nd year in a row during the regular season.
Hallinan off tackle, cuts to the outside, tries to squeeze by, and the ankle tackle is by Joe Kuchar. but still a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. In fact, we'll give them 5. Put the ball at the 25. Right now, St. Thomas with a comfortable 14-point lead, but plenty of time remaining, and they are on enemy territory, coming here to Somersworth today to take on the Toppers. Flag on the play.
Probably an illegal motion call against St. Thomas. No, actually they're clapping. Something being called against the Toppers, offsides. So, what was a relatively penalty-free first half has not been that way here in the third quarter, as that's the 4th penalty of the quarter. 2nd on Somersworth. And that'll give St. Thomas a 2nd down and about 1.
Somersworth winners of 5 in a row. St. Thomas winners of 8 in a row. Last time these teams met, Somersworth shut out St. Thomas for the state championship. 3rd man through in the wishbone is Hallinan. Hallinan trying to break that last tackle by Rouleau and can't get free. He was 1 man away from going for another touchdown.
13 yards on the carry, and can't say enough about that. Saints backfield, a lot of experience back there. Hallinan's a junior. Army's a senior.
And they've been playing for a long time together. They started as freshmen. 1st down and 10. 1st man through is Eric Army. Gets a couple, and that's about it. Brandon Cruz makes the stop. But St. Thomas would like nothing better than a grind it out, consume the clock type of drive. St. Thomas will be the top team in the upcoming Division IV playoffs. They will play next week in Dover. Their opponent yet to be decided. Quarterback option, Dan Allard, his 1st carry of the day, picks up nice yardage for 4, gets to the 49-yard line.
They're just trying to mix it up offensively, keep the Somersworth defense off guard. He's able to make a pickup of about 4 on the play. It'll be a 3rd and 4 now for the Saints. They need to get the ball down to the 47-yard line of Somersworth for the 1st.
Couple of turnovers on fumbles by St. Thomas, an interception by the Saints off a Somersworth pass here today. Hallinan gets to midfield. Pulled down by Doobie, but he picks up a 1st down.
Gain of about 6. 1st and 10 for St. Thomas at the 44. And Hallinan all day has just shown great speed in getting around to the corner. Able to pick up 5 or 6 yards at a time. And a good movement with the legs, able to make quick shifts when necessary. I've been really impressed with Hallinan here today.
1st down and 10. Ball at the 44-yard line. Eric Army bangs to the 40. Spin move down to the 35-yard line. 9 yards on the carry.
And you saw right there why Army has over 2,600 yards in his career. Big, powerful back and elusive, spinning away for a gain of about 8 is where they'll spot the ball, so it'll be a 2nd down and 2.
Topper defense needs to make a stop soon, as there's 2:55 left to go in the 3rd. St. Thomas scoring a touchdown at 9:22 of the 3rd period, bidding for their 2nd. This is Army again, and the defense comes up strong for the Toppers, as number 54, Matt Wilder, was there first.
St. Thomas doing a good job of chewing up the yards on this drive, and also doing a good job of chewing the seconds and the minutes away off the clock, really limiting the amount of time that Somersworth will have to work with to get back into this game.
3rd down, a long one. Hallinan heading toward the sticks, depends on the spot, looks like he's got it. Ed Holm, our official, will watch where the ball's spotted and make the call. And they're going to bring the chains out. That looked like a hometown spot here, Ben.
And yet we're not at their hometown. But they've been all day long. They're getting that ball placed right about where the yardsticks go.
And you'll see it right here on MediaOne. And he's going to be a first down.
Well, they have been close. I'll tell you, St. Thomas knows exactly where that first down marker is, and I'm wondering if they have that little ESPN line in their visor or something.
Wow. Both those last couple of calls have been by the white mark on the football, on the nose of the football. Regardless, 1:57 left to go in the third, and the Saints drive stays alive. They own a 14-point lead. Second man through, Hallinan. And there's a fumble. Let's see what the call is. A fumble on the play. Let's see if it was caused by the ground.
The initial sign is St. Thomas will keep the ball. Second down and 8.
Okay, so a break there for the Saints, as Hallinan will be replaced immediately on that play by Matt Zoller, number 25, into the backfield for the first time.
That was the third fumble of the day for the Saints. But
Hallinan certainly deserves a breather. Back to pass. Allard lets it fly. It's up for grabs. He's got a man, and it's going to be intercepted by Jesse Demers. Demers still on his feet. Demers trying to cut to the outside to return the ball, but Jesse Demers makes a tremendous interception as he was matched up against Ryan Murtaugh at 6'3". Jesse Demers went sky high to bring that down, and what a big turnover for the Toppers that is.
It sure is, and maybe that can help get the emotion back into the Somersworth offense. Their last 2 touchdowns came after St. Thomas fumbles, and now they have picked it off. A big defensive play. Let's see if that sparks the Somersworth offense. 15-yard return on that interception. First and 10 from the 25.
57 seconds to go. Third period. Benway getting most of the calls now. Jason Benway. Clock will continue to roll, and again, it is a factor as Somersworth will be going into the wind in the fourth period.
That's a third turnover of the day by the Saints. The last 2 turnovers led to Somersworth points. We're down to 30 seconds to go in the period, so this will more than likely be the last play of the quarter.
Toppers, on the other hand, don't want to put the ball up and risk a turnover, as they need to see if they can get their ground game moving against the Saints defense. Back to pass, Francor out into the flat. Benway, nice defense by St. Thomas that time, especially number 9, John Bonaldi, who played that ball very well. And the clock will roll, and that's going to do it as we're going to end the third quarter here at Somersworth High School. And the only scoring of the game, I should say the third quarter, was a 27-yard run by Justin Hallinan, and a big touchdown it was, and that makes the score at the end of 3, 28-14, St. Thomas in front of Somersworth. We'll remind you that you're watching the MediaOne High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Ringside Wrestling. Catch them on one of your local MediaOne stations or in a town near you. Auto Wholesalers of Milford and Hooksett, where they have over 400 cars wholesale to the public. And Man Style in Portsmouth. Experiment with your image as much or as little as you dare. I'm Sam Bruno along with Ben Cloutier. And Ben, right now, this is a big, big third down coming up for the Toppers.
It sure is. That last pass play was completed, but it ended up being for a loss of about a yard. So it's going to be a 3rd and 2 for Somersworth, and they really need a way to find 3 yards and get this first down because they're down by 14 points, and we're going into the final quarter, and now they're going to be playing into the wind, and that's just going to make their job that much tougher. So they need to keep this move driving. They need to score some points on this possession. Otherwise, you may be able to lock this one away to the St. Thomas Saints. But both teams have played excellent football this year. This season, St. Thomas winning their games by an average of 40-10. Last 5 games, Somersworth winning theirs by an average of 40-6. Something had to give here today, and right now, the Saints with a 28-14 lead.
Somersworth needs to get to the 35-yard line for a first down. First play of the fourth quarter. Demers tries to move the pile forward. It depends upon the spot.
I think it's going to be short by about a yard as he fell down at about the 35, which would make it about a 4th and 1. First down.
They're going to bring the
Somewhere
chains
up by
out.
the 36. Looks like it. I'm saying it's short. That's what I'm saying.
Right in front of us here at Somersworth High School. We'll see Ed Holm give us the signal.
Of course, if I'm wrong, you're paying for my eye exam.
It is wrong. So much for Ben Cloutier's eyes.
Oh, well. Can't call him right all the time, I suppose, huh?
Great.
First down and 10, though. Big first down for Somersworth as it keeps this ball moving.
But right now, the clock becoming more and more of a factor. Somersworth is down by 14 points, trying to upset the undefeated Saints of St. Thomas here at home today. Mike Francor, long count, quick pitch outside. Demers has got a blocker. Jacobson in front, but nice play by Bonaldi. It looked like Demers was going to get a big block on the corner by Jacobson. And John Bonaldi came up, the junior, and made a big stop. That could have gone for a lot more.
Say one thing, some excellent pursuit by St. Thomas, but I think if Somersworth had their choice, they'd take that all day long as he was able to ramble off 4 yards on it. It didn't look like a big pickup, but 4 yards is a nice gain. 2nd and 6.
Joe Kuchar, no, this is a trips to the near side. They go, though, to Jacobson in the middle. Jacobson carrying St. Tacklers down to the 30, check that, 45-yard line. It will be shy of a first down, but that was formation we hadn't seen yet today with trip receivers to the near side and Jacobson the lone setback. And again, Ed Holm will bring the chains out one more time as we are being very meticulous on our measurements here today.
It's short.
Ben Cloutier says it is short. He's been definite about this.
It is short. If I'm wrong, I'll pay for my eye exam.
Mike? Ed Holm says it's short.
I feel better. 3rd and 1, 10:31 to go here in the third. That last play, you saw Somersworth bring out 3 wide receivers to the near side. Then they just sent Jacobson left with the defense, concentrating on the wideouts.
Well, right now, when you're down by 14 and about 10 minutes left to go, everything is 4-down territory for Somersworth right now.
3rd and an inch.
Francor gets the first down.
We'll make sure Francor's getting up here. He's a little slow and works his way off the bottom of the pile, comes to the sideline for the play, and it's 1st and 10 now.
Both these clubs will play next week in the Division IV playoffs. St. Thomas will play at home in Dover. Somersworth, if they lose today, will probably be on the road unless Bishop Brady upsets Franklin. 1st down and 10. Jason Benway tries to get some room in the middle and dragging St. Thomas's Drew LaFleur with him. And Benway picked up a couple more yards. And now we've got a flag on the play. Somebody said something. Somebody said something, and it's going to be against Somersworth.
I think what you're going to see happen here, I think they're going to call an unsportsmanlike against the Toppers because that was a quick whistle. The official had in mind that the forward progress of Benway was stopped, and yet he was still dragging the defender on the ground. And they spotted the ball about a yard short of where it would have been if the whistle had held off a little bit. In any case, one of the Topper players not happy with a quick whistle, gets the penalty called against him, and it's going to set up a very long play. 2nd down, and we're talking about 25.
So a break for St. Thomas right there. And Somersworth will really try to put it together now.
Well, it's either 2nd and 22 or 3rd and 22. We got 2 different markers. There we go, 2nd and 22.
Throwing against the wind is the problem facing Mike Francor right now. Quick pitch. Nice run to the outside by Greg Doobie. But Doobie needed a lot more, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Gets the ball worked out to about the 42-yard line. It'll be a 3rd and we'll say 16.
St. Thomas with a 14-point lead, 28-14. Now will go into their pass prevent defense. But again, Somersworth has 2 tries here. I doubt if they'll give up the ball with 9:21 left on the clock. Trip receivers to the near side now. Francoeur, not a lot of blocking. Goes back out to Demers. Demers cuts to the middle and gets down to the 47-yard line. He'll be shy of a first down by 10 yards. Somersworth needs to get to the 44-yard line for a first down. And there's no kicking in the future here for the Toppers.
4th and about 9 on this play. Clock moving with 8:53 to go.
And right now, Somersworth looks to pass again. They come out, though, in a traditional full house backfield. Mike Francoeur ready. Back to pass. Looking for some running room. Keeps it himself. Cuts to the middle and will not get the first down. It was a 4th down play, and Francoeur decided no one was open and gets the ball down to the midfield stripe where St. Thomas takes over 1st and 10 and 8:26 left to go in the game.
The ball will be spotted just short of midfield. And St. Thomas now can solely concentrate on the clock as they hold the 14-point advantage with just about 8.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Last year's game went into overtime. Somersworth winning that game 21-20 after they had to block an extra point in regulation and then took a 2-point conversion to win the game.
Off tackle, Eric Army just cradling the ball and bullying off tackle, as St. Thomas will try to run a couple more minutes off the clock here and hopefully pick up a couple of first downs as they're on their way to completing an undefeated regular season. St. Thomas had 2 close games this year. When they played at Franklin, they beat Franklin 28-14, and a game at Brady in Concord was a great one, with St. Thomas winning by a point in overtime.
Interesting thing in that game, Sam, is that game against Brady, St. Thomas was losing 21-0 at halftime. Made some great adjustments to win that game in OT. So they have shown that they can win by getting out ahead quick and fast, and they've shown they can come from behind.
Somersworth had the lead in this one at one point, 14-13. But the Saints have shut out Somersworth since then. 3rd down and 11. Counter up the middle. Somersworth expecting the run inside, stuffs the play, and it will bring up a 4th down. And the Topper defense does exactly what they needed to do, 3 and out.
And Somersworth has not needed to take a timeout yet this half, so they do have all 3 remaining. St. Thomas, though, will be punting with a wind to their back, and officials' timeout being called right here. As apparently we're having an equipment adjustment made to one of the Topper players.
St. Thomas will be kicking with the wind at their back, Ben.
They sure will, and the way the punts have been going today, it very likely could end up rolling through the end zone. Could be a 52-yard punt. Most of the kicks that direction have been today.
Silva gets the ball away. He knew a big rush was coming, and it did. Ball will be set down at the 21-yard line.
Well, the punter had the right idea. Number 46, Ryan Silva, as he tried to basically just pooch punt it and let it bounce in. He didn't want it to roll into the end zone. Just ball didn't bounce that way when it hit the ground. Basically came to a stop. 1st and 10 for Somersworth at their 21. 6:42 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Topper offense needs to get into high gear right now, trailing by 14. Quick pitch, Benway. Oh, nice defensive play by St. Thomas. Getting in there was Eric Conda. Conda came in and he was keying on Benway all the way.
Well, we've seen a really good job today by the St. Thomas defense. They've only given up 1 long drive. One of the touchdowns that was scored was a 1-yard drive after a fumble, and They gave up another touchdown after a 49-yard drive, but for the most part, St. Thomas's defense has been very stiff.
2nd and 12. Up the middle. Jacobson, who's having a great game, picks up a first down. 13-yard run by Alex Jacobson. And the junior, the 220-pound junior, really a bright light for this Somersworth offense.
Able to rattle off a gain of about 14. 1st and 10 now for Somersworth at the 34. Clock is rolling, 5:50 to go.
Ends in tight for quarterback Mike Francoeur. Quick pitch outside. Doobie gets over the 35, 37-yard line. Eric Army in there on the stop for St. Thomas, but the Saints are just very happy to contain right now and keep the clock rolling.
Sure do. The ball's at the 36-yard line. Clock is rolling, 5:20 to go in the 4th, and Somersworth down by 14.
Franco ready. Jesse Demers off tackle for a couple. And somewhere along the line, Ben, in the final 5 minutes, Somersworth's going to have to do something to the outside because the inside of the Saints defense has been pretty firm here today.
It definitely has. The Somersworth hasn't shown a whole lot to spread out the St. Thomas defense. But they need to find a way here to create some open holes and get a big play. Time is running against them.
3rd down and 4. Off tackle Demers, he's got some running room. He's got a first down and more. Cuts to the inside, and he's brought down by the secondary of the St. Thomas defense, but not until Jesse Demers picks up a big first down, and Somersworth is in St. Thomas territory at the 47. 4:29 to go in the game. Toppers need 2 touchdowns.
Gain of 13 on the play for Demers, and it's a 1st and 10 from the Saints 47.
Split end is Doobie. Franco looking for him. He's wide open. Doobie's got it at the 20. Doobie at the 10. Doobie into the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! Just what the Toppers needed. Doobie split to the near side, and no one went with him. He was all alone down the sideline, and Francoeur hit him with a perfect pass, and he outraced the defense to the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, big play right when they needed it. They had a nice little play right before that where they ran the ball successfully for 13 yards to the far side of the field. This time with one wideout split here near side, Doobie, they got it over to him, and he was completely wide open. 47-yard pass play for the touchdown.
Toppers go for one here. The kick is going to be good by Gagnon.
And that brings the Toppers now back within 1 touchdown and an extra point of tying this ball game. 4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining here, Sam, in the 4th. And I have to admit, I guess we should expect a regular kickoff, but with only 4 minutes to go and as efficient as the St. Thomas offense can be, you have to wonder if Somersworth might not try an onside kick right here, but I suppose with 4 minutes left to play and 3 timeouts remaining, that might be too much time to worry about the onsider.
Last time these two teams met in regular season, 21-20 overtime win by St. Thomas. And right now, the Toppers get the big touchdown that they needed on the 47-yard touchdown pass from Mike Francoeur to Greg Doobie, and Doobie had to play center field, catch the ball first, which he did a great job on, and then he did the great angle into the corner to pick up the touchdown and outrace the Saint defense.
Well, they needed a big play, and they got it. Last time St. Thomas was on offense, it was a 3-and-out situation. And so Somersworth again needing a big stop here so they can get the ball back to try to tie this ball game up. As you see, Somersworth will be kicking off from the 40.
And St. Thomas is in their onside kick mode. They are expecting the onsider here. It could be a little early. It is an onside kick. It's on the ground, and luckily jumping on it is number 9, John Benaldi. It was Somersworth trying to hit that no man's land right over the first two lines of the defense.
Yeah, exactly. With them charging down the field and the momentum, just try to get it over those first two lines and hopefully outrace the Saints to the loose ball, because a kickoff is not like a punt. The kicking team can pick up the ball and return it. In that case, it didn't work. Saints, though, will have the ball first and 10 at their own 35. A big time now for the Somersworth defense.
And gut check time for St. Thomas. And of course, they go to Hallinan. Right off the bat, look at Hallinan go. Just what St. Thomas needed. Justin Hallinan, who's already scored 3 touchdowns today. They go to their outstanding runner to pick up a big first down into Somersworth territory at the 47. Toppers do have to gamble right now, but they also have to key on number 22.
Hallinan with a gain of 18 right there, able to pick his way across the near side of the field for another first down.
Army crunched at the line of scrimmage. Big hit right in front of us by Matt Wilder.
Gains only 1 on the play. It'll be a 2nd and 9. Clock down to 3:30 to go. Once again, Somersworth does have all 3 of their timeouts. They would love to save them, though, for another offensive opportunity. We'll have to see how well the defense holds up here.
St. Thomas in no hurry to get to the line. Dan Allard talks to his center. Snap. Second man through is Army. Army picks up 3 yards, and that's about it. Somersworth wants to start using their timeouts.
We have 2:58 remaining on the clock, and Somersworth does use their first timeout. It's going to be a 3rd down play. 3rd and we'll call it 7 for the Saints. So big play coming up for Somersworth, which is one of the reasons why we have Somersworth calling a timeout. One, they do want to save time. But secondly, they want to make sure the defense doesn't make any mistakes here, because they have to stop the Saints on this play to force St. Thomas to punt.
And again, Somersworth operating against the wind. And St. Thomas will be kicking with the wind if they need to punt after this 3rd down situation.
Actually, though, Sam, this part of the field, it almost isn't good news that St. Thomas has the wind in their back, because the punt could carry farther than they want to into the end zone.
Somersworth scoring moments ago on a 47-yard touchdown pass from Mike Franco to Greg Doobie to make it 28-21. St. Thomas jumped out to a 13-0 lead quickly in this one, but then Somersworth capitalized on 2 St. Thomas fumbles to go ahead 14-13, but the Saints have been in the end zone a couple more times before that big pass to Doobie. 3rd down play coming up. Fans from both sides. St. Thomas cheering on the offense. Somersworth cheering on the defense. No doubt about it. Hallinan, he's got the corner. Turns toward the sticks. It looks like he's got it.
It's going to be an interesting mark. It might be marking a little bit short. He may have got out of bounds before he got to the yard marker.
Now Ed Holm calls timeout for the placement of the ball, and timeout Somersworth. We don't know if it's a first down. The fans on St. Thomas thought it was a first down signal, but it was a timeout Somersworth signal.
And it's also going to be a 4th and 1 for St. Thomas right now. At this point, Sam, I almost might go for it.
I say go for it. I'm 8-0. I've got an 8-0 team. My team's been running like they have all year long.
Yep.
I say, look, fellas, get a yard.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if they don't make it, Somersworth will get the ball at about the 38-yard line. And if they punt the ball, chances are, it's not going to be that big of a difference. So
it might go in the end zone, come out to the 20.
Exactly. So let St. Thomas try to get this yard, because if they can get this first down, it'll just about put that final nail in the coffin in this game.
Nice Halloween analogy by Ben Crudier here on our MediaOne High School Football Game of the Week. So you'll be able to get in Maine, you're able to get in the Halloween stuff?
You missed my brewing one I had earlier, though.
We're all set to go. And St. Thomas needs a yard for first down, and they are going to go for it. This is St. Thomas saying, here we come. We're 8-0.
You can feel the tension.
Long count. Eric Army, first down.
Well, right there, you saw St. Thomas plow ahead for a gain of about 2, which is, they only needed 1. First and 10 for St. Thomas. There's 2:47 remaining on the clock, and Somersworth only has 1 timeout remaining. Chances are very slim, unless they can get a 3-and-out right here. But if they do that, it's going to leave very little time on the clock for Somersworth to work with.
Second man, Hallinan. Hallinan back to the line of scrimmage, hangs on to the football, which is his #1 responsibility right now. Clock rolling, 2:20 left to go in the game. St. Thomas leads 28-21, trying to complete an undefeated regular season and go 9-0.
Should mention, Sam, that if they do close this one out, this will be their 2nd straight undefeated season, undefeated regular season.
The Saints look at the clock, 1:58 left to go. Quick pitch, Eric Hallinan. Hallinan over the 35 to the 34. Gain of a couple, and that's about it.
Somersworth chooses to let the time keep rolling at this point. They're still saving that 1 final timeout. It'll be a 3rd down and about 8 for the Saints. The ball is spotted on the Toppers' 35-yard line.
And right now, St. Thomas feeling pretty good about their positioning right now, 28-21.
It's probably more 4-down territory, so expect St. Thomas to try to run a couple more plays.
Needing to avoid a turnover at all costs. Somersworth will be blasting through, trying to force that turnover and delay a game. Dan Allard wants to know about that. And Ed Holm will explain that it's going to be 5 yards for delay, and will stop the clock at 1:13.
So Somersworth with a couple of breaks there. One, the penalty stops the clock with 73 seconds left. And secondly, it backs St. Thomas up, making their chances for this first down even more difficult. It's a 3rd and 13 now. Once again, though, I believe this is still 4-down territory.
Split ends. Tailback is Hallinan. Hallinan gets the call. Bus forward, still on his feet. Hallinan's going to go for a touchdown. Undefeated season for the St. Thomas Saints. Hallinan goes 38 yards for a touchdown, and that's going to do it.
Well, Hallinan did a good job of, when he got into the areas where there were some tacklers, of lowering his head and avoiding some of the attempted tackles that were trying to be made on him high. He was able to duck those, and nobody got a good grip on him. Maybe if somebody had gone low, they could have cut his legs out from under, but instead he scampers 35 yards for the game-sealing touchdown. It's a 34-21 score right now. St. Thomas, point after to come.
Justin Hallinan, 4 touchdowns here today. The kick by Silver is going to be good. No, check that, wide to the right. The wind caught at the end, blew it, and that makes it 34-21, but regardless, there's only 1:04 left to go, and St. Thomas will be in the same position, Ben, that they were last year, top-ranked and undefeated.
Yeah, the only thing they want to make sure is that there's no snow to finish out this playoff season, as things kind of got jumbled up last year, but another great year for St. Thomas, 9-0. Justin Hallinan with 4 touchdowns today gives him 13 on the year. He now has over 2,500, maybe even 2,600 yards in his career, as he's had a big day rushing the football. We saw some good balance with Hallinan and Army when they needed him. The scary thing is that Hallinan's only a junior. 34-21 though, Somersworth. And this is a sweet moment though for the Saints, as they get a little bit of revenge, as Somersworth had beat them last year in the state title game. St. Thomas, I'm sure though, would rather exact that revenge in a tournament setting, but for now this is a good place to start.
And Somersworth's playoff future will be determined by the winner of the Brady-Franklin game today. Ryan Silva kicking off for the Saints. And it hits a Somersworth player. It's up for grabs, and St. Thomas is going to get the ball. That ball went 10 yards, bounced off a topper, and the Saints get the ball back and can run out the final minute of this one.
Well, that definitely takes any anticipation out of this final minute of play, as a great call by St. Thomas. An onside kick when it was not expected, and they're able to take this ball. Now they can just run this clock out on their own. They are 60 seconds away from that 9-0 season. Second year in a row they go undefeated during the regular season.
And they will go to one knee in this situation. Allard just downs it, and the clock will run, and they'll do it one more time. Will the Toppers use their final timeout? They will. They will call their final timeout here.
You never know what might happen. Sure, St. Thomas is going to probably just try to kneel on this again, but there always could be a fumble in the exchange, allowing Somersworth a chance to recover a fumble and maybe a quick score and an onside kick, another quick scoring. I mean, they're not dead yet, so you might as well take this time out, give yourself the